Welcome to the Marshall Pruett podcast, brought to you by Cooper Tires and the Justice Brothers. We're going back in time here, but just about a week or two. The 12 Hours of Sebring actually had this rather amazing 1,000 miles of Sebring World Endurance Championship event, plus the traditional Mobil 1 12 Hours of Sebring IMSA event. And due to this collision of European and American endurance racing series, knowing that we'd have the better part of a dozen drivers in Sebring, said, hey, why don't we put on a little Week in Sports Cars live podcast with myself, my co-host Graham Goodwin, and our friends at Ford Chip Ganassi Racing. Indeed made it happen. Thank you again to Lindsay Morrill and Kelby Krause for bringing this all together. So we got together Thursday in the paddock from about 6:30 to 7 p.m. We had Sebastien Bourdais, Joey Hand, Dirk Muller, Ryan Briscoe, Richard Westbrook, who is the butt of many jokes. And I guess by saying the word butt, I'm tipping things off a little bit. A lot of bathroom humor related to Westy. Stefan Mucke, Olivier Pla, Billy Johnson, Andy Priaulx, Harry Tincknell, and Jonathan Bomarito. The 12th and final member of the team, Scott Dixon, was indeed busy testing that day, testing at the Texas Motor Speedway in his Chip Ganassi Racing IndyCar. So we're hoping to have the even dozen. Ended up being 11 plus Dixie in spirit. Good fun here. Had a nice crowd, and IMSA certainly helped with this. Helped us with the PA system, which a little crackly here or there, but again, you do your best here when you're out in the field in the middle of the paddock on a Thursday with cars on track and who knows what else going on. So anyways, hopefully you'll enjoy this. A little bit under a half hour. And yeah, for the most part, some great questions. Us asking some questions of the drivers as well. And also giving a couple of them just a really hard time, because that's what you do. You have fun with these guys, and they tend to have fun with us right back. So let's get going with the combined Chip Ganassi Racing Ford GT program. Almost a dozen drivers. Hopefully we'll have both sides back next year for Sebring. Not sure though, so that's why we wanted to make sure that we got everyone together for this here in 2019, brought to you by Cooper Tires and the Justice Brothers.
Let's give it up for the four drivers as they come out. Sebastien Bourdais, Joey Hand, the elderly father of Seb Priaulx, Andy Priaulx, Harry Tincknell, Jonathan Bomarito, one of the Mullers, Billy Johnson, Olivier Pla, and Stefan Mucke. Who we got?
So we'll get started in just a moment. IMSA is preparing their Facebook live feed. I will mention we did intend to give you all 12 Ford Chip Ganassi Racing drivers. Ryan Briscoe late to the party. It's okay. 20 push-ups, please. Scott Dixon, IndyCar testing in Texas. So if you see him this weekend, just tell him clearly we weren't important enough for you. He's a ginger-haired Kiwi, so if you don't give him a hard time, he really wouldn't know how to react. So give us just a moment, and we will kick off and hopefully have some fun with our friends here from Ford Chip Ganassi Racing.
Well, we're amongst friends. People know the show. Well, amongst friends for now, people know the show. So I'm going to be coming along and asking for questions to any or all of these guys. It's going to be pretty rapid fire this time. So we don't need any prevarication, no long-winded answers, never a problem with Harry.
Hello.
Oh, Richard Westbrook's here. I can't go near Richard. So Richard is here too. Your appreciation, please, for what must be by some distance the oldest of the four drivers. I don't know if you've seen the exclusive Roger Warwick artwork featuring what looks remarkably like Chip Ganassi. These will be given out if you want to get the guys to sign those posters. This will be a strictly limited edition, mainly because when Chip sees these, there are going to be legal proceedings without a shadow of a doubt. No question.
Mr. Goodwin, do you want to wander into the crowd?
Is it safe?
Well, there is some money in his pockets. Please take it. That's also
Not much.
complimentary.
The life of a roaming sports car reporter is not a profitable one, let me tell you. So, ladies and gentlemen, seldom anywhere in the world, and certainly not in Sebring, has there been a lineup like this since Busted magazine on the counters of Florida Miles Everywhere, which features the convicted felons in the various counties around here. This is a very talented bunch indeed.
Joey, fresh out of prison here, by the way. Congratulations.
Very good.
All right, Nate Siebens from IMSA. Shall we start playing live podcast?
Waiting on a
signal.
Welcome to Florida.
All right, look, our fans are taking care of us, streaming
Absolutely.
live. All right, we're going to just start rocking and rolling. Y'all, thanks for coming out to our little live week in sports cars here at Sebring. This is meant to be like our podcast, interactive, ask some questions, say nasty things, throw stuff at us. It's kind of normal. Graham is going to venture into the crowd. Please return him when you're done with him.
Please.
He does have a variety of skills.
I stay easily.
Let's start off with any questions for long
Let's have hands.
drivers here.
Who's got a question for any or all? Come forward to me, my friend, because we want to make sure. And
wearing a Justin Wilson
introduce
t-shirt.
yourself
Good
by
man.
the way in which you'd introduce yourself on the internet.
Hello, my name is on the internet Right Turn Lover.
Right Turn Lover.
And would like to know, will a WEC or an IMSA Ford set the fastest Ford lap this weekend? And the losing camp, what's going to be the excuse?
Ooh, who's going to be faster this weekend? WEC or IMSA Ford team? I see a lot of people who don't want to answer that question here. Come on, someone raise your hand. You're brave men. Olivier Pla, I knew you'd take one for the team.
Yeah, I think it's a different BOP between the two championships, and I think the IMSA car a little bit faster.
The most important part of that, though, the losing team between the both camps. What kind of penalty? What do you guys, whichever WEC or IMSA side is slower, what's the penalty? What are you going to have to do? Sebastien Bourdais, come on, buddy.
Why is it always me?
You didn't have to show up. I'm not paying you.
Okay, Mexican restaurant bill, I guess it is.
Yeah, I think we should do Mexican restaurant. Loser buys.
Ooh.
You are from California, so we need to clarify. When you say Mexican restaurant, are you talking Taco Bell or a real Mexican restaurant? Joey Hand.
Most of the guys know here I'm pretty easy when it comes to food.
Richard Westbrook. There might be children here, by the way. Keep it clean.
The loser, Taco Bell naked. I think that would be fine.
Oh.
Knowing that some of Ganassi's drivers, IndyCar drivers, had a slight issue going through Taco Bell, just say no drive-through. That's all I'm saying.
Absolutely.
No drive-through.
I'm looking down this line. I think that might be very unpleasant.
Graham Goodwin, who's next?
Who's going to go for it? Let's see some hands. This gentleman here.
So which team is the biggest prankster?
Biggest pranksters among WEC or IMSA?
I'm looking at Harry Tincknell here. He's got that mischievous look in his eye, and he's sitting next to, well, the Archdeacon of Prank, Andy Priaulx. So, Harry, what kind of stuff goes on that we can't normally see?
Well, I'm not sure so much between the two teams, but I don't know if you saw my Instagram feed from Fuji last year. A certain Mr. Button broke into our hire car and ransacked it, for want of a better word. And we had spare tyres in the front seat. We had headrests in the boot, and just everything was mixed around. So watch out for Mr. Button.
How do you know it was Mr. Button?
Because they videoed everything.
Not a criminal mastermind.
He had the look in his eyes there of being violated.
Mr. Briscoe, can you share any tales of doing really mean but funny things to teammates? This is the audio setup that Nate's son uses for his band practice. That's how awesome Nate is.
Oh, we've kept it pretty tame on this side, I'd say. I think of fear of retaliation so far, anyway.
All
I
right.
can't believe that.
No, I don't believe that at all.
Not at all.
Billy Johnson, glad to have you back as an American representing the European side here. Tell us about coming in this American institution of Sebring, part of the Ford Jeep Ganassi program.
It's great to be back home. I live less than 2 hours away from here, so it's a pretty easy drive. And it's great for the WEC Series to come to such an iconic American track. Something so special as Sebring, how bumpy it is, how different it is from the pristine billiard table smooth FIA tracks that they race all over the world. This represents America in a big way, so it's great to be here, and pretty much I'm at home.
I did recommend to Sebring's president, they actually build a mezzanine here on track. So you have the old bumpy one, but if you want, build a nice, clean, super billiard surface second layer. He looked at me and just took pity on me. Mr. Bomarito, you're a busy man this weekend. You're kind of the Multimatic all-star, driving Multimatic built 4 GTs, plus you're in the prototype category with Mazda. How the arms and legs, neck, you worn out yet doing double duty?
Getting there. Today was a bit more physical. Yeah, we have a long weekend still yet ahead of us. Myself, Harry, my teammate in the 55 Mazda, Harry Tincknell, also in the 67 Ford, and Olivier Pla, we're all doing the double duty. But so far so good. Everything has been smooth. It's hard staying organized, and you're changing shirts on your way to the next media request or on track activity. So but so far it's been good. I'm looking forward to tomorrow's race getting started, get that one over with. Hopefully it goes well, and try to get a little bit of sleep Friday night, because the Saturday morning warm-up comes real quick.
His beard was black yesterday morning, by the way. Look at the stress on this guy. Joey Han, weren't you just named the mayor of Elk Grove, California or something? This sounds like a Simpsons episode, by the way.
I'm working on the mayor, but I just got the key to the city. Ooh. So, I'm working my way up there.
What does it unlock? Like all the little parking meters? Are you taking change out? What does it get you?
Not Costco, come to find out. No. But by the way, going back to that thing about messing with people, I'm not sure, I'm not sure if Westy's messing with us or not, but we have bathrooms on the trucks here for Ganassi. But it seems like every time when Westy comes out, the toilet paper's empty. And I'm not sure if he's messing with me or because I keep showing him how to do it, but it just never gets changed.
You're having to teach a grown man how to use a bathroom. I love that. And it's a very Westy comment, too. That is actually quite brilliant. Graham.
You sure he's not collecting the stuff? It's possible he's got a sideline, a side business. Come on, fess up.
It's all true. Guilty. I don't know how to change that toilet roll. It's very complicated. But when you got someone on the team like Joey Hand who knows how to change it quickly.
Has he been well trained? Where do you think he got that kind of inside information and training from?
He's well trained at home, definitely. But I don't do that at home. My wife does it for me. So.
Or is this like a contractual protest? He wants more money, so he's stealing like toiletries, packing them into his bag, taking them home.
Might be a
just
rider.
Trying to deplete a little bit of the Ganassi budget.
What? The blue M&Ms and the toilet paper. It's the rider, I'm sure, on the contract there.
We already caught him drinking the hand sanitizer, so this guy's a mess over here.
Absolutely.
Speaking of messes, Sebastien, tell us about your start to this week, Sunday in St. Petersburg. I ask about that because if we're talking about highs and lows, everything's looking up for you this weekend, knowing last weekend was kind of a big cartoon anvil falling on your start to the IndyCar season.
Yeah, thankfully the week starts on Monday, right?
Sunday.
Oh, shit. Well, yeah, so it started pretty bad, that's for sure. Yeah, I think I totaled 12 laps in 2 days, if you exclude the warm-up. So it's pretty remarkable, I think. Like, not a single flying lap in qualifying and 11 laps in the race. So, yeah, things I can only be looking up from here.
No wonder your teammates said they want you to start last in the 12 hours of Sebring. Graham, I'm sure you have something for the most distinguished gentleman here,
I think
Andy
we should,
Priaulx.
because just seeing Billy here as well. Billy has got another program with Multimatic and with Ford this year, the British GT Championship with a GT4, and in the same two-car team is going to be your boy. What's that like, seeing your son looking like at any time now he might nick your factory seat?
Yeah, it's not easy because I've got to drive to the circuit with him, I've got to drive back with him, I've got to go out to the house with him, and he's always saying he's faster than me. So, listen, it's really nice. It's great to see the youngsters come through, and if I'm going to lose my drive, I might as well lose it to my son. That's not so not so bad. So, as I've said, there's always, if there's one guy I don't mind getting beaten by, it's my son. But
get a percentage early. The car looks great, doesn't it?
Yeah, the guys from Multimatic have done a great job. The GT4 is a nice car, Mustang. It's an iconic vehicle, and Multimatic are going to be, running the car in the UK. So they've got a good chance actually, with Scott Maxwell. a really experienced driver. In fact, he did the test with Seb last week at Donington, and he said to Seb, the last time I was at Donington was before you were actually born. So he's very experienced, and you know, he's still quick. So Seb's got a great teacher there, and I've just got to concentrate on the WEC, and you know, he can get on and do his own thing.
It's a great car, this Ford GT, and I know when it was introduced to WEC and to IMSA, turned a lot of heads. It certainly looked smooth out there. Harry, you're out in that last session. Looked pretty cool, calm, collected, quick. Quite unusual for you.
Absolutely. Luckily, Andy was showing us the way. But yeah, we've been really strong all weekend. We've been pretty much, you know, between the Ford and the Mazda, been pretty much P1 or P2 the whole way through. So hopefully the wheels aren't going to come off just before qualifying coming up this evening. But yeah, I think, you know, we're looking good. We'll see what we can do. It's going to be an absolute dogfight. I think Porsche, Aston, Ferrari all right there. But we're going to stick it up there in qualifying and hopefully hold on in the race.
I've got one more question for Mr. Tincknell. Hands up, anybody in this little party that at home somewhere, on the drive, in the garage, has a Ford GT? Who has got a Ford GT?
I was told we need to have Westy explain to us how to do things like put the wing up or down, because apparently he doesn't know. So could one of the... Oh, and also I heard you have the Andy Priaulx tribute
is that
serial number as well, number 67.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Yeah, I found out. I pressed a button and the rear wing came up and I felt really cool. And then I didn't know how to put it back down. So I was going to call Dirk, but he was in a different country. I didn't want to spend that much money calling Dirk up. So I had to leave the wing up. But apparently you've got to drive it 15 miles an hour and then it will go back down. So yeah, I'm still learning with that car.
That's the level of... It is. That's the level of first worldness that comes when you are a Ford factory driver. Let's have a quick look. Now, Billy, you said you got a Ford GT, correct?
So I was one of the development drivers on the Ford GT, so I have quite a bit of seat time in both the road car and the race car. And yeah, it's a fun car to drive. It's very, very much like the race car. I don't think there's, or I know there's no other GTLM or GTE car, whether it's Porsche, Ferrari, BMW. None of those other manufacturers, their road car is anywhere near as close to the race car as our Ford is to the Ford GT street car. So I think that's pretty special when you sit in a Ford GT street car. The feeling of it, everything about it is as close as you're going to get to a GTE or a GTLM car than any of those other manufacturers. So the goal of the car was to win Le Mans as a group. These guys over here accomplished that, so it was definitely a huge effort, and really that is a very special car.
I have zero doubt that every single one of these guys that does have the privilege of driving those fantastic cars, when they go along those mirror glass windows, puts the window down and watches themselves cruise by. Correct? Absolutely. Willie, an actual spin.
I picked mine up, and you know, I went for the silver, sort of gunmetal grey.
Grey.
Yeah, exactly. With, you know, the carbon trim and stuff like that. I thought, you know, that's pretty original. And then
grey on grey.
No. Grey carbon with orange calipers, and I thought, yeah, that's pretty unique. And then 3 weeks later, I saw an Instagram post from Guernsey, Andy Priaulx, silver car, carbon wheels, carbon everything, and bloody hell, teammates can't. Yeah, we've got to do everything the same.
Hands up. Any further questions for our boys? Gentleman at the back there?
If it's going to continue as a Pro-Am car, would any of you want to be the driver of the program continuing that way?
Rachel Westbrook, the Am there in the Pro-Am car. Any hands for that one? Your end, surely. Jonathan's got his hand up here.
Dirk, I've nominated you.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that car is just a dream to drive. Every lap is a pleasure, and if that would mean to extend that pleasure, yeah.
I should say, by the way, if you've been standing trackside here, what you won't have heard was Ben Keating announcing to the media room this afternoon that the privateer car that's announced for the Le Mans 24 Hours will be in Wynn's livery for the Le Mans 24 Hours. That is one spectacular looking set of colours.
And also I love Extended Pleasure was Dirk's stripper name, so it's really cool that he used that phrase. Mr. Briscoe, I think we might have an emerging story here. I noticed that you and your teammate are as far apart as you can possibly get. Is this a continuation of Westbrook's bathroom etiquette, or what's going on here?
It's actually really true, and he's going to continue that story. There's more with Westy in the toilet.
You're getting dumped, buddy. Sorry, that didn't mean to follow toilet with dump. All right, Briscoe, give us a scoop. What's wrong with Westy?
He's got something going on, that's for sure, because it was not pleasant up there just before we came down for this little interview.
This is the kind of insight we expect on the Week in Sports Cars.
We'll get him a probiotic. So, Stefan, you're known as an extremely professional driver. I almost feel like I should apologize to you for inviting you to this nonsense, but nonetheless, what's it like here just having this cool double WEC IMSA weekend, having fans that just want to come out and hang out?
Yeah, it's absolutely great. I've done Sebring quite often, and now coming back with the WEC is just great. It's one of my favorite tracks. It's, as said earlier, it's something completely different to what we used to drive on tracks, and I absolutely love it. I love the bumps and the difficultness of the track, and I really enjoy every lap on it.
More questions?
While you're doing that, could you get to the front, or do I need to do that from
That's going to be all you, Graham Goodwin.
Okay. You'll do.
Love the Mustang shirt, by the way.
Thank you. Is there a track that sports cars don't typically go to that you guys would really like to visit?
Olivier, hit us with something.
Good question.
He was asleep, folks. Is there a track sports car championships don't usually go to that you'd like to?
I would definitely like to be back in Sears Point. I like that place a lot.
Ooh.
My home track, I'll second that. All right, you've had time to contemplate. What comes to mind?
But in the US, I don't know actually. I mean,
anyway.
Oh, anyone? I think Zandvoort I like a lot. Yeah, it's quite fast, quite technical. Yeah.
Billy, I'm going to ask the same question of you, but maybe with a slight twist. Knowing that at least among this group, unless someone else has identified themselves, you're the drift master of this group. I've seen you do ridiculous things in road racing cars at angles that just were never intended. Name a track you'd love to go to, you don't go to now in sports car racing, with that drifting victory lap in mind.
I think Bathurst would be pretty cool, drifting down the hills and up the hill. That would be a lot of fun.
One of the reasons I love me some Billy Johnson. J-Bomb, what about you? Where should we go that we don't?
I enjoyed racing in Montreal years ago with the Grand M stuff. That was a lot of fun. Yeah, good track.
Joey, what about you? And don't say a kart track.
Man, Dirk took mine. Sears Point is my home place. I would love to go back there, but Portland would be cool to go back to also. That was a fun place.
Monsieur Bourdais?
Yeah, I'd vote Bathurst too. I think it's a GT3 event, but be able to do this with the Ford GT would have been pretty cool.
We're not going to ask you, Harry, because you bought a car that looked identical to Andy's bad boy.
Well, hang on a minute. Let's come back this way, because I was at Bathurst this year, and there was a Ford GT at Bathurst this year on demo laps, but Ryan Briscoe drove it around there. Let's have a word with what that was like, Ryan.
It was awesome. It's, I'd say, the best track in the world. We turned the engine up too, so we had some pretty high speeds going.
Hang on, you turned the engine up at Bathurst?
Yeah, why not? I mean, it's we turn it down so much to conform to the rules and regulations here. If we take the car out just for a demonstration run, we were just begging the Roush Yates guys, can we just turn up the engine? So there's plenty left in it, and so we let it rip, and it was just phenomenal.
So what kind of power you reckon you're running on those demo laps, which, by the way, are available on YouTube?
I don't know the numbers. Unfortunately, the conditions weren't really right for going fast, but it was still a great experience, and would definitely love to go back there for a proper event with the car.
Graham, we got time for one or two more questions, and we're going to let folks get autographs, selfies, robberies.
With the very cool Delta Wing shirt.
This is for all of you guys. Who here claims to be the quickest?
No hands. Come on. We're all teammates.
Let's try this a different way.
We love one another.
Let's try this a different way. Okay, Westy's going for it. Who's quicker than Westy?
We're
not talking in the bathroom.
This is the first time I've seen an ego flare up on Richard Westbrook. Sorry, my sarcasm motor broke.
Well, I only put my hand out because everyone else has been too shy.
Why are you the fastest? Nature, nurture? How does this happen?
What are we actually talking about, on the track or in the sack?
Oh. One good,
Look,
the other
I haven't
very,
spoken
very
to your
bad.
husband, so I don't know. Again, Andy, I just apologize. I mean, Order of the British Empire here being...
I just feel sorry for his wife, don't you?
In so many ways.
his wife, his teammates. This is sad. All right, where should we go last, Graham?
Well, let's get one more question. Looking. Right, there you go.
Best track, worst track.
Seb, you're good at things you hate. Give us a track you hate. No! And it's not the stereotypical whatever Frenchman. He's a sweetheart, but he also states the things he doesn't like freely.
So why is it always me? Like, why am I...
I'll do best track. Road America is the best track.
Oh, can't argue that.
Yeah, I mean, I would have to be Le Mans for me because it's just...
As worst?
No, as best.
He did best.
No. No, you asked me.
I don't know why I came to you now, but yes.
So that'd be best, and then... Worst, I don't know. I think the worst place you can go to is the place where your car doesn't work. Like, where it's just... there's not a bad track. There's just a bad combination where you can't have any fun driving because, like, the car is just completely wrong and doesn't do anything you want it to do. And, that can be any oval on any day. If the car is wrong, the corner just keeps coming at you way too fast and way too many times. But in general, I'd say there's... I don't have a track that I don't like. I've been to plenty of tracks where I've had no fun, but not because particularly of the track.
Well, I've got another end of the French spectrum here with Olivier Pla, who's going to give an offer on both best and worst.
Best Watkins Glen. Worst Mexico.
Mexico City.
These I'm not exactly
way
sure.
Too many slow corner and just first gear corner, second gear corner, and just not fun.
Pla does not do slow.
Let's close with the class that is Andy Priaulx. Favorite track, worst track?
Well, I think probably the best track that anyone can ever drive is the Nordschleife. That's a special place, and I think most of the guys have raced around there. Worst track, that is a tough one. I'm like Seb, I just don't like it when it's raining and grey and the car's a load of crap and, the engine, it's not working, the setup's bad. And
you're talking about England?
So most English circuits.
It's enough about your BMW career.
Good Lord. Guys, why don't we give our awesome guests here a round of applause. We do have some prints to give you. Hopefully our friends at Ford might have some Sharpies or something we can use. Folks want to get those signed. Pose for a photo. Take home a Ford Chip Ganassi racing driver. Whatever you feel like doing. And that was our little shindig live in the paddock at Sebring. Thanks again to IMSA and the Ford Chip Ganassi racing team for making this happen. Also have a video from this that was shot by NASCAR Productions. We will get to that and edit that and post it as soon as we can. But otherwise, had a good old time. Beautiful sunset coming down. Some nice photos came out of it. Altogether, seemed like we had a lot of fun, and so we are planning to do even more in the upcoming days and weeks. We know Long Beach is one we're working on right now. Will hopefully be an Acura/Honda themed live podcast with Acura sponsoring the entire event, and we will keep ticking the boxes and doing more live shows just for fun, just to bring you a little bit closer to the drivers and key personalities you enjoy the most, get a few autographs, hear some tales, take a couple selfies, and then go watch some racing. Last quick note for you, we did launch our MarshallPruettPodcast.com site here at the very beginning of March. It appears to be working, so if you get a chance, please check out MarshallPruettPodcast.com, where it has all 500 plus episodes we have posted since we launched the podcast in May of 2016. We also actually just surpassed 2.5 million downloads since we launched the podcast. So if you get a chance, check out the new site. Also a place where you can subscribe and or pull up links to every single episode we've ever done and share those, pass them on, hopefully bring some new friends and listeners into the little fun stuff we do here. All right, I'm Marshall Pruett. This is the Marshall Pruett Podcast, brought to you by the Justice Brothers and Cooper Tires. Thank you for listening.